I'm not afraid of running my own business. I've been afraid of running my own business because I'm afraid of what people will think if I fail. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid of the I told you so's. Like that, I think a lot of people are in that stage where they're like, you're not really afraid of who you could become. You're afraid of maybe the path to get there might be hard or it's unclear. And then you're afraid of going against the conditioning almost. What are we smoking today, boys? Some more Olivas, I think, right? I handed you an Oliva, yep.
Yeah, we got the Olivas.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, and looks like you got the big dog.
I did. I got an Oliva V-Series, the Melania.
Ooh.
Not Melania. It's not
feminine.
Mrs. Trump.
God damn, dude. Where do you buy all your cigars?
At, what is it, Mike's?
Mike's Smoke Shop?
Yeah.
They got a pretty good supply.
Oh.
A good buddy of mine I grew up with, that's his parents own that place.
Just flip it to red. just take it. Burn a hole through your hand.
Yeah, didn't you say we... Should I reach out and see if we could get a little connect going for a sponsorship?
You know, I was talking to the lady at the desk when I last bought these. And I was like, hey, we want to start a cigar club. She's like, oh my gosh, I would join. I'm like, cool. What's your email?
What's your fax?
Oh, Mitch.
What's your
Mitch
fax?
he's got some great technique right there, y'all. That's...
Get her so speeds.
Oh, boy. Proud of you guys.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
She sure?
Yeah, she's good.
Let me know if you need another light.
No, I'm good for now.
I feel like I'm struggling right
This is my favorite part of the week, gentlemen.
Mine
Hold it
too,
up
man.
Like this.
Yeah.
I look forward to this shit.
Yeah, if you hold it up like how he's got his.
Hold it like
Oh,
that.
shit.
There you go. Yeah, let the
flame
jump up to her.
There we go.
Just let the flame dance on her. They call her flame dancer.
It's physics, dog.
Aerodynamics.
Flame dancer.
Flame dancer.
Let the flame dance up there. Holy shit. Who put this goddamn lid on last time?
So
It was
what do we got
Mal.
there.
It was Mouse.
Oh, tequila?
Yeah, this is...
Jesus Christ.
No, that's tequila.
No.
Jesus is a man. The son of God.
Jesus.
Mitchell, Jesus is the son of God, Mitchell. But this is Herradura tequila. This is like one of the only tequilas I can sip. It's a browned tequila. So if you want to try this today,
Yeah, I'll give it a little shot.
Sharon.
No pun intended.
On the cold rock.
On the cold rock, cold stone.
Herradura on the rock. Gentlemen, welcome. What was your favorite cartoon growing up, Mitchell?
I mean, SpongeBob's like the OG, but I'm trying to get I think here. Dude, I liked Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, not bad.
Jimmy Neutron, the graphics were the best back in the
High fidelity.
that day. I loved Jimmy Neutron. Yeah.
He's got a big head, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Was that way?
Yeah.
You were too old, huh?
Yeah. Even in
Fucking
Pokemon,
geezers.
I was like, my buddy's little brother was 2 years younger than us, and he had all his Pokemon stuff. Pokemon, whatever. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what kind of... What are you
PlayStation.
doing?
That was crazy.
Come to find out, it's like, cool, you know?
Tom and Jerry, actually. I used to love watching Tom and Jerry, too.
Because that's been rerunning on the televisions for a long time.
Now it's all like high def shit, too.
Yeah.
I got down with Captain Planet. Did you ever watch that?
Captain Planet, he's our hero.
Yeah.
Takes pollution down to zero, dude.
Yep.
My favorite, most racist TV show ever.
Heart.
Yeah.
Wind.
But it's like, dude, it's so funny because it's like all these guys got legitimate elements, you know? They're like wind, earth, fire, and there's like water. And then it cuts to the Indian guy and he's like, Hurt. Feelings. Like Mother Nature is like so powerful, you know? And he's like, feelings about nature. Like,
I remember when I lived in California, we were watching Rugrats, but it was like with an antenna and it was coming in all staticky and stuff. But it was like brand new, fresh Nickelodeon, dude, and we were all about it.
yeah.
But growing up watching, well, dude, I used to watch some crazy cartoons. So when I lived in California, I mean,
Like anime titties.
yeah, we didn't like last house I lived in California. It was a 1-bedroom shack. We didn't have running water. It was out right by next to an old Christmas tree farm off a dirt road.
It was basically like Little House on the Prairie.
It was Little House on the Prairie, dog.
Little House in the Hood.
My uncles would truck in water once a week and fill up a barrel, and that's what we'd take a bath in before the week of school. So definitely
Pa would shoot a deer and
yeah, definitely humble beginnings. But then I moved to Utah when I was 7 with my dad, and he had MTV and like full out cable. And I was staying up all night watching like Eon Flux and all sorts of shit, dude. It was my introduction into like American culture.
oh, Eon Flux. It's like a space.
It's like kind of a space sort of thing. And it was
Yeah.
like super sexual and like there's just, or I forgot what it's called, but this dude had like a big head. It's called the Head, I think. And he had like an alien that lived in his head. And it was like a freaking 10-foot tall head. And there was like an alien that lived in it.
Is this
And-
cartoon
yeah, they were cartoons. They
on
were,
MTV?
yeah, they're like late night cartoons. And then obviously like Beavis and Butthead and,
Oh, okay.
you know, and they would cut to like watching music videos and talking shit on them. And
Yeah.
dude, it was awesome.
And they had the pop-up video where like you'd watch a music video and like something would pop up to give you some information. During this scene, she almost drowned or something like that.
Yep.
VH1.
VH1, dog.
Music television.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, this is back like circa 1994.
Circa.
Remember watching like Kurt Cobain, like Nirvana. I think it was like his last live performance. It was on MTV
Yeah.
right before.
And they like rerun it. They like kept playing it.
Yeah, they kept
Like
playing
as
it.
memorandum or whatever.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, the whole deal. It was awesome.
That's so funny, man. Like the cartoons and the commercials. I was telling some video gamers I play with, and I was like, we were talking about the commercials that like are burned into our minds from the 90s because all the toy commercials, you know. And I always remember the Spider Slam, Hot Wheels Spider Slam.
Spider Slam.
It was just a normal loop de loop, but the car like activated a switch as it went through the loop de loop, and it came up, and like whenever the switch got activated, it dropped this huge plastic piece of shit spider, and your car had to make it under the spider,
Oh shit.
and it was like wham bam Spider Slam, and these kids are just losing their shit.
Dude, my brother just sent me this commercial yesterday. It says, imagine if 2003 Miller Lite commercial was made today, and it's these two chicks arguing over. Great taste, less filling, and they just start going at it, throw each other into the water feature, and they're like in
start
public
fighting.
and start fighting. Their clothes start coming off, titties are all out. And I'm like, dude, they got to make commercials like this, and then it cuts to like
yeah.
a bar scene, and it was like, could you imagine if they made a commercial like that? And then it's like the two chicks that were actually starring were like right next to the guys, you know?
Like they were just storyboarding.
Yeah, they were storyboarding. It was so fucking awesome.
Simpler times.
It was way simple, man.
Commercials back then, though, like, God, it's so much fucking better.
Yeah, because everybody had. That's where the talent was.
Yeah.
Right, because that's where everybody's eyeballs were. Mm-hmm. And then with the internet, kind of was like this weird limbo from like, you know, early 2000s to like whenever YouTube didn't really kick off till like 2012, I think.
Probably. I mean, it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I think it was like
around.
2007 when I first started watching YouTube.
Yeah, it was like really kicking off, and I remember in 2012, it was
2008
like-
maybe.
Yeah, when it like hit its stride, but it was growing from 08 to whatever. But someone could probably correct that in the comments if they're watching. But it was just all the eyeballs shifted there, so all the talent went there, you know, or like all the energy that people output into content. It was just like there.
That was like beginning stages of Facebook, I remember. Because I was down with MySpace.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I got down on MySpace.
Did you ever get down with Instant Messenger?
Dude, MSN?
Yeah, I'd be like chatting with my neighbor next door. It's like
Yeah.
it's like 4 PM. Like we're just like waving through the window.
Yeah. That was like the first social media. I was in middle school, and it was like MSN was like the big deal.
MSN Messenger.
Yeah, you'd want to have like, I was like trying to get all the hot girls to be my friends on
Yeah,
MSN.
so then you
and
just chat with them.
yeah, the whole deal.
And they're like, LOL. And I'm like, what the fuck is LOL?
And I know. Well, just like, I remember the time before we had the LOLs and stuff when we first started texting, and they always were misinterpreted, and it was just super fun. And then we started doing LOLs. Then we got to emojis.
Yeah.
And now it's just like half my texts are just emojis.
I know, yeah.
Especially on our team chats, dude. It's just like little arms like this and little fire flames and little kissy faces.
This one.
It's crazy how social media has evolved, though, from like, you think of like why it got created was to just connect, like to actually have connection with
Network.
Yeah. And connect with old friends and
Stay connected, yeah.
Yeah, stay connected. But it's crazy how it's totally shifted now into just like at least for people in my space and industry, it's like content creators, but it's not like when you think about social media as like a whole, like the whole concept of it is just to connect with people. And so I feel like a lot of people maybe miss that message also. Like that's what you need to do on social media is like connect or be authentic. Right. But yeah, you gotta connect with people on social to actually make it like valuable.
That's a really good point, man. That's the whole reason it was made, was for like connection. And I think you're right, dude. Everybody's lost in the sauce because it's also people, it's where branding lives, right? But branding lives wherever people connect. Dude, that's like, you should put that on a shirt, dude.
Yeah.
Like branding lives where people connect. Mm-hmm. So you're at a football game, branding runs across the ticker on the big jumbotron. Well, it shows you and your girlfriend, like,
Yeah.
Kiss your sister, sort of thing.
Zions Bank, and you're like,
Kiss your sister. No, all right.
Zions Bank condones this.
Yeah. We were at the rodeo and it was pointing the camera on the kiss cam and it was so funny, dude.
What night did you go?
No, this was up in the fuck was I? Up Tremonton? Mm-hmm. Way up there.
Yeah.
That's where we got
way up yonder in the outskirts.
our white German Shepherd. That's where we got.
Oh, really?
Tremont, bud.
But yeah, we were up there and that was a cool rodeo.
Yeah.
I missed the Dixie
Roundup.
roundup because we were in Powell, but I'm pissed, dude, because I literally live like fucking 5 houses down
from the.
And I'm like, dude, I could have got all shit faced, fucking walked over there, rodeoed, and walk home.
Bro, I took my wife there as her first rodeo ever.
Oh yeah.
And dude, she's like,
Oh, did you see? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, she's like, can we get a beer? I'm like, no, there's no beer.
The beer
here.
garden,
Yeah.
They had a beer garden.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's like in the corner, but you can't see shit.
Oh,
You can't leave. You just
Oh,
have
I
to
didn't
stay
know
in the
that.
one spot.
Yeah, you have to like not be a part of the rodeo.
Yeah,
didn't know
exactly.
If you want a beer at a Utah rodeo, you have to
be with your
not
beer.
be a part of the rodeo.
Yeah.
They like shame you in a corner.
Yeah, that's exactly what
And you're
it
just
is.
looking at other people that like, I want to watch the rodeo. Me too.
You're right, man.
What day did you go?
Saturday.
I don't know if you were there yet or not, but on Saturday, I guess my grandpa and one of his other Marine buddies got reconnected.
Was that your grandpa?
Yeah, did you see that when they came
Yeah,
out
bro.
in
They
Laser?
pulled him
and they
out, and
honored
dude
him.
was from like Florida.
Yeah,
what was his
one's
name?
from
Rudy.
Florida. Yeah, Rudy, and then
Yep.
my grandpa John.
Dude,
Oh,
They
sick,
totally
shit,
honored
dude.
him and shit. And I was
Semper
like,
Fi.
that's fucking sick.
I didn't know
That's
that,
rad,
dog.
man.
But yeah,
Yeah, they fought in Vietnam together.
Yeah.
And Rudy, he was missing his leg, dog. Peg legging it.
I'll tell you what.
That's cool, man.
them guys fighting the Viets, as Theo Vaughn would say. The Viets.
the Viets.
Name.
But those guys, like Vietnam vets, are like fucking legit, man.
Yeah, and like that time, everybody
in the
like
bush.
hated, right?
Yeah.
Like back
Everybody
when they
hated
were going into war.
Yeah, like when they came home, like they
they
came
were
home
all
to
like-
protesters, like they went and
The hippies.
Yeah, people spitting on them and shit.
like saw their friends die and all this stuff to come back to protesting, and
Yeah.
you know, wasn't the best reception. Didn't make them feel so good, as I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
now
anyways,
we've
it's-
learned a lot, I think, as a society from that, where it's like we might not condone the war or the politicians pushing it or the reasons why, but the soldiers that are going over there, we still,
Yeah,
we still give them a high five at a rodeo.
Yeah, we give them love,
And
but
make them go drink their beer in a separate area.
not necessarily happy about
In
all the
Utah.
billions we throw at that stuff. But
That was one thing I noticed in the Tremont Rodeo. There was not a lick of beer in sight. I was like, dude, California, the trash cans are stacked full of the clear plastic cups, like, and it just smells of Bud Light. And
Yeah, but not anymore.
what do you mean?
Bud Light's a debacle.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Jeez.
it's Miller Lite.
Yeah, it's
It
Miller
was.
Lite. Or Pops.
Yeah, Budweiser.
Blue Ribbon.
But yeah, my wife and I took her. I forgot what the store was called, but got her some cowboy boots because I have these snakeskin cowboy boots I've had forever, and we each got a cowboy hat. Got her a nice belt, and yeah, we showed up looking good, bud.
I know, that's exactly what I did. I didn't even have a get up, so I went and bought me some Wranglers,
Hell yeah,
cowboy hat. I was like, it's about time.
yeah.
About time. I'm like, my whole family's like full country, like everything, all about it. And I'm the
Because
only,
they like walk the walk too, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just the black sheep and the hippie.
Yeah, I got a
Still
bunch of
have
family from Texas and Oklahoma, and they some country folk.
Yeah.
Or Tennessee too, dude. My cousin's
yeah.
from Tennessee. Just how they talk, it's so fun. Like the Scarlet accent or whatever. They're like, y'all come from supper now.
Third song. Come on in for some hospitality. Yeah.
Well, my cousins, they grew up in San Diego, and they were kind of like these little like street hoodlum kids, and then they moved to Tennessee, and we didn't see them for a couple years, and then they came to visit us, and they're like, y'all, and like just completely had the twang and everything, and coming from
It's like, are you okay? Did you swallow a banjo? I think he ingested a banjo. Just bang, 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 bang. Get on down to the gas station. Get on. Gotta go down to the bank and pay my bills.
I spent a bunch of time in Louisiana, man, and that's quite the accent down there.
Yeah, it's not so much Tennessee. You're right.
Did you meet up with Buffalo Bob down there?
No, man, but it was funny. So the company I was working for is Jefferson's uncle way back when, and I had to travel all over the country.
Is that when you
And-
were doing the tanks with Obi?
Yeah, so I would call these ready mix plants where they make concrete or batch concrete, and so I'd call them with like my professional voice. Hey, this is Jared with Western Transport Logistics. I just want to let you know that we're going to be here, going to do this, and that. And they're like, come again. So finally, I was like, hey man, this is Jared, Western Transport. We're going to come change out your tanks. You're not going to shut me down, are you? Nope, we're going to keep you running. All right, we'll see you then.
It's funny.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. We're gonna come fit your tank.
Yeah.
Don't
Dang on tanks, man.
Dang on.
You guys have issues with the tank. You're gonna come down there and get down tank. All right, you gonna keep me running. We're gonna keep you running.
Yeah. It was about 4 years after that too. I'd get phone calls from those guys because they had a question like, "Is this Jared? This Jared?" I'm like, "Yes, this is Jared." Oh man, I got an issue with my tank, man. I'm like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm not with the company anymore." And like for 4 years, I get calls from Mississippi, Louisiana. It was interesting, dude. It was like taking a trip into the past, man. Like just the way everything is and the culture down there, and all the buildings are like super dilapidated, and every gas station you go to, it just smells like freaking like because they fry chicken everywhere.
Yeah.
So you just thick fried chicken smoke in there.
chicken.
Yeah, dude. Just thick in the air, bro. And there's not a lot of sights in terms of like the women you can see down there. And finally we were checking into a hotel, and there's like just this real like cute little chick that was checking us in for the hotel. And so we get to talk to her a little bit. She was super cool. And then I noticed that like, she was born with like sometimes people like born without a hand, they got like a little finger on it or whatever. She was rocking that. And it was like, that was like the hottest chick was like, had like a little hand finger thing going on. She was super cool though.
Dude, there's a theory that like the further west in America you go, the more beautiful the women get. Have you heard that?
It's true, bud.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's like this self-hygiene thing too. And like the beauty standards are, we can all agree that what women are held to is like ridiculous, right? Especially with social media. But
Well, and at the time I lived in Las Vegas, and so I'd be down south, man, down there, bud. And then I'd fly into Las Vegas, and a lot of the strippers in Las Vegas, they actually don't even live in Las Vegas. They'll fly in from different parts of the country or whatever. And every time I flew into the airport, man, it was just a breath of fresh air.
Just lots of beautiful women.
There's beautiful women everywhere. You go to Walmart, whatever,
Beautiful
dude.
women.
Yeah, because I always lived on the west side, like South Summerlin area, and or I went to like LVAC, which is like
It's like a gym, right?
yeah, and it's off
know
West
that's
Flamingo, and like that's the spot, dude. You got like tons of like like UFC fighters. Jenna Jameson went to that gym, and it was just like you'd go there and just be like, holy shit,
Dude, do I belong here?
do I? Yeah.
Do I
And
need
then like I would,
reconstructive surgery to be
I remember I was watching Forrest Griffin fight he was fighting like on the TV as I was riding the bike, and then this dude comes to sit next to me, starts riding the bike next to me, look over, and it's him. And then
the dude that you're watching.
the dude I was watching, and then he's sitting next to me, on the bike. And then there was another time I saw him, and I don't know if he thought I was cute or if he wanted to fight, but like he just kept, because we were like in this room, it was just the two of us, and every time I look over him, he's looking at me. I'm like, the fuck's he looking at?
He bite his lip.
I don't know, dude. But then
or he put a mouth guard in.
as he went to leave, I'm like, I'm gonna see if this motherfucker looks back at me. Sure as shit, dude. He went to leave, takes one last look, and then leaves. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think he liked
I
you.
wonder if he remembered you.
I don't know.
Because sometimes like I'll see somebody, I'm like, that looks like so-and-so. And then they'll make eye contact with me, and I'm like, shit,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, maybe it's like because I saw him a bunch, and everybody be like, "Oh, Forrest, go and suck his dick," and then I'm like, he's just another dude, you
They
know?
just went and sucked his dick right there.
Yeah, for real. But dude, I almost started saying what's up to him, dude, because like I would see Suge Knight every single night. I worked at the Cosmopolitan, and he'd roll in there with like 10 chicks. He would like get basically a bunch of hotel rooms, and there was like, you know, he was their pimp basically. So he'd roll in there, but dude, I would see him every single night, and like I'd walk to the bathroom, he's in the bathroom, like just I'd see him everywhere, and I almost was gonna be like, "What's up, dog?" Like just because I saw him all the time. But then he got in a fight there, and they kicked him off the property.
Oh, and he lost privileges there.
He lost his privileges.
Dang, dude.
But that was interesting working there, just because it was like probably like the most popular casino at that point in Las Vegas, and I worked weekend nights. And it was just like
Probably brand new too, huh?
oh yeah, it was brand new. It was like less than a year opened.
So just celebs everywhere.
It's all the celebs, dog. And my 21st birthday was pretty dope. So I was living in Vegas, and a good buddy of mine, and I met a lot of UFC fighters through him. He owns
Wait,
like
is this when you went to the Playboy Mansion?
No, I never went. I got invited a bunch of times.
Oh.
But no, I was in this series with Playboy called King of Clubs. And I'd go to the I think the Palomino Strip Club, and I'd go shoot there, dude. And they would have me do like it was like reality show, but they would like tell us what to say, and so I would like be on camera like
So there's TV shows with you in there. You're out there.
Yeah, the Playboy channel.
What the fuck?
And but yeah, so I was like
Mitch
a
is, like,
regular.
nodding, like,
I was like a regular on King of Clubs, and then I used to get invites to the Playboy Mansion all the time. Way back in the day, I never went. I should have, but what was I getting at? Oh yeah,
21st birthday.
yeah, 21st birthday. So a good friend of mine, he's like, you know, he owns a jiu-jitsu gym down there, and he knows like even when, because I used to sell some weed back then, and like when BJ Penn would come into town, like I would be his hookup and stuff. And
He's like a governor now, or
he ran for governor for a while. Yeah, he didn't
He's
get
not
it.
the governor.
Yeah. But yeah, so the dude, his brother was like the chef at I think it was called Roy's Hawaiian Fusions, this super nice restaurant in Las Vegas. And the dude, he's been on like the Food Network and stuff like that. And so this is his brother. And so we got to go there for my birthday, and it just full comp, dude. Anything we wanted, food, whatever.
That's not in like Chinatown, is it?
No, it's East Flamingo. So there's a bunch of nice restaurants right there, just off the strip.
That's awesome, dude.
But so we went there. Then we went to Planet Hollywood. It was called Privé nightclub back then. So we get in there, and this was like Kim Kardashian sex tape famous. You know, before she was like Kim Kardashian. So she was at the club, and she's like sitting on the couch by us and shit. And Kim K, dogs, at my 21st birthday.
Nice.
Mario Lopez, Slater from Saved by the Bell was there. And then the highlight, dude, it was Floyd Mayweather came in, dude, with his whole fucking team, dude, and they shut the club down. They didn't shut it down, but like they turned off the music and like let them all come in. There's like lights on him and shit. And then he gets up on like the podium and he just starts like fucking making it rain $100 bills.
No way.
Yeah, dude. My brother-in-law fucking caught one, dude. And it was pretty dope. It was.
That was in Planet Hollywood?
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
where's that club?
It's gone. It's long
now,
gone. Yeah. But dude, it was some other things
That's where I
happened.
stay normally. But.
Some other things happened that night that I might not say on the podcast. But dude, it was like, if you could ever have like the best 21st birthday, that was it, dude. It was so fucking awesome.
That is epic.
Yeah, it was
That is
epic.
cool, dude. You were almost a celebrity, Jared? Like,
Yeah.
what if you just said the right thing to old Kimmy K?
I know.
And then you
Should have
were
made
like,
my move, dog.
then you were there.
Who's the ugly son bitch that was dating one of the Kardashians? You know what I'm talking about?
What do he look like?
Ugly?
Ugly. No, he's like, shit, I don't even want to try to describe this. We should just skip that. But anyways, all I'm saying is that motherfucker he's a celebrity too, but everyone's like, how did he get,
Yeah.
that? You could have just went to the Playboy Mansion and you'd
Oh, you're talking about the Saturday Night Live guy?
bingo.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
Davis.
Yeah,
Pete
Pete Davidson.
He's funny. Some of his sketches are funny.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. So, but you're back to the theory that the further west you go, the more attractive the women are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's
Or even
real.
just Utah in general. Like,
Utah's up there.
Utah's got like the purebred, gorgeous,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
because all my family, a bunch of
Californians,
construction
like,
workers that
exotic.
just would migrate and follow construction ended up in St. George just because it never stopped growing. So they never had to leave. And they're just like, man, there's something in the water.
Yeah.
Something in
People
the
know
water.
because I heard the theory, growing up, and then it wasn't until like it was talked about more in depth with extreme detail by, horny Marines that I knew. So they'd be like, oh yeah, like they'd come from the East Coast to like a, West Coast unit or something. And then they'd be like, what the fuck is going on out here? And they're like, they're holding out on us. Like, there's nothing in New Jersey. And we're like, yeah, it's probably true.
They get chicks with the New Jersey accent.
yeah, you don't want
Fucking smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. Fucking asshole.
Well, like the grunge look too. Me and Mal talk about this. We have some people that we know that are like, they just like grunge out, like it's like common today. Like lots of girls just wear like men's clothes, and some pull it off. Some do like it's like their style. They pull it off. They still look feminine and like pretty and stuff. But like, that's just more common on the East Coast. It's like grunge, like it's cool, like not to try. To be, and I don't really care because I have a wife. She's awesome. I don't need it, but it's just like it's interesting to see that kind of culture where someone's like they just don't give a shit, and it's funny how they just kind of play into that. Like every feminist I know that's like diehard, like looks like a fucking dude. Like they're just butched out.
They hate men, but they want to.
Yeah, they want to be
They want
them.
to look like one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of time up in New England as well,
Oh yeah.
Boston, Mass, and all of that, and it was crazy because I was there for 3 months, and then I went straight to Houston after that for 3 months.
It's different.
Dude, like America, what's so unique about it is it's a huge country, right? And like there's just so many different cultures, and how like Europe is, you have these like countries that are smaller, so you got all these different cultures, but America, dude, especially when you hear how they talk in Boston compared down south, bud, like it's
Dialect is interesting.
yeah.
Because even when I lived in Germany, it was like just a town away, right? Now via like a train or automobile or whatever on the Autobahn. Right?
Autobahn.
Like
I was hoping you were
nowadays-
going to say that.
Yeah, it's the Autobahn. On the Autobahn, it's like it's so close. It's like a couple, like a couple minutes, maybe like 5-6 miles, or that's even far for Germany, because everything's so packed in close. I think they have like 80 or 90 million people packed into the size of the state of Utah. So everything is they build up. Like everything is 2 or 3 or 4 stories, and like
Jesus.
yeah, like a national park to them is like a city park. Like I think the biggest national forest they have is like like Central Park in New York is like bigger than it. I don't know.
Crazy.
But they don't have much national forest or anything. They do, and they're like, it's so big. And then all these Europeans come to America to see the Grand Canyon, and they're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is huge. Like, they don't understand it. Like, the difference in the space that we have has really shifted our culture. And like, we're not isolated because we're a new country. So we've always had like a freeway, or at least in modern times, you know, like freeway or, you know, internet to connect each other. And so the dialect is, I think, less severe. But in Germany, you could talk to someone who's born and raised in a town and then go to the next town like 3-4 miles away and talk to them. And it's a completely different dialect, dude. Like
Weird.
a different language almost. Like they just
That's
talk so
crazy.
different. It's nuts.
Speaking of Grand Canyons and stuff, what's your guys' thoughts on like just being out in Powell, and apparently it's going back down now because of some
Oh, the water level.
act that got put in place in the 80s or something. But do you ever think Lake Powell's going to actually fill back up?
Ooh, no.
I agree.
A lot of people, when it talks about like weather or anything like that, anytime I think about weather or like all this global warming shit and stuff, it doesn't really matter if it's real or not, because what is real is geothermic engineering. Like our country and other countries too, and other countries complain about it, and other countries support it, and other countries do it, and we do it. But we basically modify the weather. They have it down to a science. The first time they ever did it was in Vietnam, actually.
Yeah.
They seeded clouds.
You've seen Forrest Gump, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's just started raining. Sometimes it even come up. But yeah, that's because they were trying to flood out
Vietnamese, yeah.
because they had all their underground like networks and shit, the Viet Cong, and it was in an effort to flood all that shit out.
Yeah,
shit.
so they extended the monsoon season in Vietnam 1 year. I can't remember the specific year, but they extended the monsoon season by 4 months. And now, fast forward, like you can go watch. There's people that post the satellite imagery of like weather towers and weather patterns. And it's almost like someone flips a switch and you'll see these cloud seeding machines all over Arizona and Nevada and Utah just like kick on at the same time. And all of a sudden clouds just like materialize out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's either Abu Dhabi or Dubai, but they make it rain once a week.
Yeah.
What the
Intentionally,
fuck?
yeah, cloud
I had no
seeding.
idea about this.
And then, so that's why when someone's like, oh, we're doing this climate change initiative, you should just hold up your middle finger. Be like, you fucking control the weather. And so when they're like, Utah water, it's like, dude, like this rain has been, like, you can look up in St. George, me and Jeff Fieldstead and Brandon Neal on the Solid podcast, because we produce for them. We talk about it all the time.
Really?
You guys see the cloud seed? It's like contrails versus like chemtrails. But chemtrails is where you lose people, because people are like, oh, you conspiracy nut job. But if you say geothermic engineering, that's an actual science, like studied. Like the military puts research into it. Like it's an actual like field.
And there's a company out of Utah, I think Southern California for a while, where's contracting them go cloud seed down there
Yeah.
with the drought.
Like
Cloud
people
seed. So they
cloud
just
seeding.
I don't even understand.
It's like
how that would even
watermelon seeds, you know? Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, when a mama cloud and a daddy cloud puts the seed in there.
So I think, I don't know, I mean, it's something probably to do with like hydrogen or something. And
No, what they do is they spray like really just metal particles. It's barium, I think, and aluminum for sure, and barium and other things like that. But they spray them at high altitudes or at certain altitudes, and then it reflects and it retracts energy from the sun, so they can cool or heat an area. But now,
and then because like it's like condensation, right?
yeah,
Is that how it works?
yeah, it kind of creates temperature changes that would favor cloud, formation. From what I understand it, I'm not an expert, but now what they're talking about, and there's some podcasts I could show you, Mitch, of guys that worked for the government down in Antarctica, and they have these laser weapons, laser technology that can shoot lasers into the clouds. They've done tests. There's a guy talking about it, how they had lasers shoot the certain parts of the atmosphere and like certain frequencies and stuff that caused like an earthquake in New Zealand.
No way.
Yeah. And so when you talk about the Maui fires and like, how did those start? And people are
I heard about some laser shit
lasers.
going on.
Yeah.
Somebody, I saw something on social media that was like,
I told
oh, dude.
I told Blake, but my sister and brother-in-law were in Maui when it happened.
holy God.
Dude, yeah, and he called me and was like basically in tears, and he's just like, dude, I saw death, I saw destruction. There was no warning, there was no sirens, there was no nothing.
Did he think it was like arson, or did he feel
He didn't know. He's just like, we're over there, like, luckily where we were wasn't like, didn't catch on fire, but we're over there playing in the beach and stuff, and you could see like just the smoke going. And but he's like, man, just to see the way that community came together and the way they helped each other and support each other, he's just like, man, I just came out of that knowing that I need to do better.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be a better person.
And then what's happening now is the government's blocking a lot of aid to Maui. Like,
oh yeah, tons of
weird
it.
shit. And I dove.
Hey,
deep
$700 per household, dog. Come on,
Hey, yeah.
come on.
You get the government gave everybody
Highest cost of living in the United
$700.
States, and he sent him $700 a household.
So I don't want to get too deep into it, but I did an episode with the Derek Lake podcast, and we dove into it. I've done tons of research on Maui, and it's like sickening, like to the point where like I was feeling physically sick with anger and rage, because it's like it's the most recent 9/11-esque thing that's happened. Like, energy weapons are real. We have them in orbit. We have them in Antarctica. Like, they control the weather, like 100%. It's not like a super exact science, I don't think, but they can superheat parts of the atmosphere with a laser that's been seeded with these dense metals. There's all sorts of videos of people, like, it rained yesterday, and they come out, and their car is covered in, like, rain. You know when it rains and there's, like, dirt splotches on your car, especially up north, because you get all the, what do they call it? The aversion in the air. All the pollution in the air. Inversion, yeah, thank you. And there's people they're like, this never happens here, but it rained really weird. Like, the clouds were like a weird color. They were too dark. They didn't look natural. There was lightning with no sound, like all this stuff like that, like weird shit, science fiction stuff.
There's been like red sticky shit.
Yeah.
Before.
And so people have like scraped with a razor, like they're preparing a fucking line of cocaine. They scrape it off their windshield and they put it under a microscope, and it's like barium, aluminum, like all the things that geothermic engineering does.
Or a magnet.
They run a magnet over it, and all of the dirt just sucks up to the magnet. So it's like not even dirt. It's like magnetic particles.
I watched
It's fucking crazy.
it was the Joe Rogan podcast. He had Tulsi Gabbard and BJ Penn on there.
Yeah.
And they got super in depth about a lot of the things that led to why the fire got so bad. Now, laser beams aside, there was just a lot of things with averting water, and even while like the fires were going on, there's such little water that's accessible to that area. Like, people are turning on, because everybody's turning on the hose at the same time. It's just a drizzle coming out. Meanwhile, at the resorts and the golf courses, sprinklers on the whole time the fire's on, and they divert. And even like that area of Maui that used to be more like a marshland, but now it's like really. So they do have wildfires there every year, and because it's so dry now, because they diverted all the water, basically
To resorts and stuff.
like businesses and things, they came in and bought the water rights in Maui and diverted all the water sources to
The
those
locals are pissed.
to
dude.
those businesses
so
and
mad.
everything. Basically, made it like a desert landscape.
Yeah.
And really set it up for not very
it's
much
all
success.
Dry brush, for sure.
Yeah, dry brush, and they had like super crazy winds and wildfire, and
When I was out there 4 years ago, I met some guys out there. We were partying together. Like, we had like 12 people in our group, and they were probably 12 to 15 of their group, and we're like partying together or partying on the beach. And then we kept like looking at each other, and then like I walked out, and then their guy walked out. We like made like a truce, and then our whole fucking squad just got together. We
guys
just started
squatted up.
partying. And anyways, dude, for the rest of the trip, they took us to all these fucking places and just driving us everywhere, doing all this shit, and super awesome guys. But went out to the bar in Lahaina a couple nights. It was so fun. got wild. But
That's awesome, dude.
But yeah, I've been seeing some of their posts, and they're like, you know, the West Maui, like that's like where they're all from. But dude, yeah, they're not fucking happy, and just obviously all the resort shit and all the stuff going on there.
Yeah, and like tourism's like back on, you know, like right away, and so people are like, anyway.
It took the mayor like 8 days to even show up, and there's just a lot of weird shit that
You want to
went
hear
down.
something real weird? This is like 100% confirmed. It's fact. But the police of the same chief of police that was presiding over the Las Vegas Metro Department when the whole Jason Aldean concert got shot up. You remember that? Multiple shooters.
Route 91.
Yeah, and the whole investigation was like just a shit show, covered up. Information was lost. We couldn't get a straight answer. Journalism sucks. Blah blah blah. But the same chief of police, guess where he's chief of police now? Maui. He's running the whole thing now, investigation wise.
Weird.
It's like, how the fuck is that a coincidence?
Bro, I lived in Las Vegas when that shit happened.
Damn, dude.
And yeah, and I knew people that were there.
Same, yeah.
You know, and I was in sales back then, and people that had family members that were killed there, and it was amazing to see the city come together. Like, people were showing up to donate blood, and it was when the Las Vegas Knights, it was their like inaugural year.
Yeah.
And like that really provided, I don't know, it was kind of weird how it all happened, but they had like their like hashtag Vegas Strong, and the city really came together from it. But what was crazy was I had never taken my kids to the strip before. You know, dudes flapping cards trying to give you a picture naked chicks and stuff. Yeah. So was like, you know, let's just take them down to like that south area of the strip by Mandalay Bay and all of this. And so we were walking around, you know, showing them what the Luxor looks like, and just, you know, kind of letting them have some experience. And we left, and when we left, we headed south past the Mandalay Bay, went out this way, and it was about an hour later that shit happened.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
I had my children right there within an hour of that shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts, dude. And I don't want to get doom and gloom here on this podcast as much. We will, but like, yeah. So back to your Lake Powell question, bro. It's like, yeah.
Segue.
I just don't trust reality anymore. Like, I don't trust what any institution tells me.
The powers will do what they want.
If it's a religion, don't give a fuck. It's just dudes. If it's a corporation, don't trust them. If it's a news outlet, a news article, don't trust it. Now, do I read and do I still learn enough information to hopefully make a good decision? Sure, try to. But I don't trust the government. Don't trust anything like that. And so, do I trust that the powers that be, are going to like raise Lake Powell? Because Lake Powell is I think it's a water source for a lot of Arizona and for a lot of southern Utah as well. And then Vegas, you have the Hoover Dam. And I think it's Lake Mead. Yeah, Lake Mead is big for. So watch them squeeze this climate change thing out of everybody, and they're really orchestrating the whole thing. It's
all
fucking,
part of some big plan, huh?
It is, dude. And like when you know, when you can piece it together, and you have people, eyewitnesses, that are risking their careers, that are risking their livelihoods to come on podcasts and to talk about geothermic engineering and the science behind it. A guy who worked at an Antarctic installation on the Sean Ryan Show, fucking one of the best podcasts out there, because he's a former CIA operative, former Navy SEAL, and he's just fucking fed up with the country, fed up with all this bullshit. And he interviews all these other operators with these crazy stories. And he's telling them, like, you know, he's asking them, like, are we the good guys? And almost everybody's like, not really. No. We're not the good guys. Our country, our government is not good. The American people, like when a tragedy happens in Vegas and they all come together, that's where you see good Americans, like how they helped in Maui, you know, like there was a police cordon around the city. No one could get supplies in. So people just fuck that. And they just started getting boats and coming ashore with water and other stuff, and people getting chased off by the cops.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And like their priority was to...
Yeah, they stopped, like they blocked all the major like docks and stuff, and people had to go in private boats and come into like private docks and things just to bring in resources.
Dude, what sucks is just seeing the picture of that ginormous tree in Lahaina that's like just notorious, got all these fucking vines and crazy shit, just been there forever, and that shit's just
It's gone.
burnt to
Yeah, it was kind of like an iconic tree. I remember.
like everybody knows that tree, and it's just like
a lot of tourists take
dude.
pictures of it, right?
Dude, crazy.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to look into it, look at the color blue. Have you heard about that? Mm-mm. So part of the theory is, by the way, lots of celebrities live in Maui. Their shit wasn't touched. Oprah has a house. Will Smith has a house. I'm pretty sure The Rock, I don't know if he has a house there, but he's been involved.
Steven Tyler has a house out there.
Yeah. A lot of celebrities, there's a special color of blue. And a lot of them have that same color painted on their roof or their house is blue. A lot of like Masonic temples and buildings are colored that. Like probably within the last 10 years, I think they've repainted it from what I understand. But the theory behind the laser is these laser weapons exist. They're called DEWs, directed energy weapons. And they shoot laser and light at a frequency because everything is frequency. Like even these lights right here are all frequency. And the color blue resonates at a different frequency where it's not affected by this particular laser.
Weird.
So in the rubble of Lahaina, there are cafes or like a water jug that was blue or like cafe umbrellas over like a table that were blue.
Oh, and those weren't
even touched.
interesting.
So everything else around it like fucking
I
disintegrated.
think I saw a picture. Yeah, something like that.
But just that's not. And like there's every car is like literally melted to the road.
Yeah.
But a blue car is fine. Like right next to it. And what's interesting is aluminum burns or melts at 1,300 degrees or like 1,200 and something. But asphalt melts or gets liquid at 300 degrees. So something like the machines that lay asphalt, they are hot, right? And they're steaming up that asphalt to like 300 something degrees so they can, shape it and lay it and smooth it. And so the asphalt's fine, but these cars are completely melted. There's like rivers of, solidified aluminum pouring out the bottom.
Weird.
It's like, dude, and that same shit is all over 9/11. Like buildings. Oh, the terrorists flew they flew a plane into a building, and the whole building collapsed. But what people don't know is that like a block away, 2 to 3 blocks away, sometimes there's a whole parking lot of melted cars on 9/11. It's like how does a building collapse equal?
Yeah, there's that building that collapsed
melting
behind it.
Yeah, and then you had the 2 towers fall, and then like building 7 and some other buildings like collapsed hours afterwards. And they almost fell in like a gingerbread house, like there was nothing inside. Yeah. And for hours and hours and hours, just dust and smoke was billowing from these buildings. It's almost like the interiors were just melted away. So I have a whole textbook on that, dude. I'll get you one.
Yeah.
It fucking blows
my mind. Or like
where
the plane crashed into the Pentagon because there was like $1 trillion unaccounted for. And
the day before 9/11.
Day before 9/11.
Testifying about that.
And they had to testify about it. And
why they were missing $3 trillion.
Yeah.
2.3
trillion. And it's that plane hit much. That very section of that very section of the Pentagon to basically get rid of any sort of evidence, the
financial wing.
Yeah, the financial wing. And
and there's not even like a scrap of plane debris outside the Pentagon, but a plane crashed there.
That's weird.
But I remember 9/11. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how can we turn up the vibes?
The vibes.
We did get deep.
Here's the vibe check. Is that we're fucking American, baby.
Goddamn right.
I don't care. Like, we've thrown another superpower back into the ocean with the help of some wealthy nations as well. I'll say that. But we did that once to gain our sovereignty. And like, if needs be, I think we'll do it again. Even if it's our own country that we got our own government we got to throw out and start over, I think we'll do it again. I have faith. But that's the vibe check,
right,
dude.
To bear arms, dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I remember 9/11, it was similar to the Vegas thing in that, like, the country came together.
Yeah.
And my initial thoughts when COVID happened that it would, obviously social distancing, you couldn't come together. But I thought it would be a similar aspect. But, there's probably a lot of social engineering involved with how all that went down. But it was like the biggest divisive thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I think what happened, a lot of people woke up. I think that was the unintended consequence they didn't want to have happen. And we're like, we smell this bullshit.
Yeah, and now they're like got their scare tactics coming back, and everybody's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, that's
I'm
what's
going to
funny,
the
too.
beach.
It's just like how much. It's all like a test, and if you want to believe it and buy into it, then they're like, "Oh, great, let's push them more and more fear," But if people don't respond, because it's like it's literally, think of St. George when COVID happened. Like our stores were closed for maybe like fucking 3 days, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, fuck that."
Dude.
And like the mask thing was like such a scare, and obviously Jeff's like the fucking staple of like everybody,
Yeah,
and
he's
we
the
got
poster
kicked
boy.
off the Delta flights and shit.
Yeah, I got
And they were
pictures
like,
of
everyone's all clapping. I'm like, God damn.
I got a picture of Jefferson
I'm
on
one
my
of those
phone.
guys.
I got a picture of Jefferson on my phone with a mask on.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
fucking hates that.
It's a gym,
shit.
dog.
Wants you to
It's a
burn it.
gym, and his brother Jared too, and he's got the most disgusted look on his face as he has his mask on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when you and I met. We were at
Vegas.
we were in Vegas at the M,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah, that.
And remember
fucking
we were
checking
walking
in, and
around
they're like,
and-
no.
Yeah.
Here, and Jeff's like, thank you. Just never put it
Yeah.
on.
Thank you.
but
Appreciate
you
it.
and I
They're
were
like,
walking
yeah, they're
around
gonna
like
kick you off the
we had a
property.
drink or whatever, and like you had to like keep the drink up here, and they
Yeah.
were like trying to police us and shit about like keeping the mask on as we're walking around with our drinks, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But my first day knocking doors for JKR Windows, first time I ever knocked a door in my life, March 13th, 2020, the day of the shutdowns. Mm-hmm. That was my introduction into the door-to-door industry.
Try it with COVID now.
During the pandemic. And dude, Jeff was like, because everybody's getting all scared and stuff. He's like, look, until they shut down, till they come and lock our doors, we're going to keep fucking pushing. We're going to keep pushing as everybody's retracting. We're going to expand. And we went from 2 million the year before to 10 million that year. We grew 500% as a company because basically we're the only ones man enough to step up. And it was interesting. I was listening to a Sam Taggart podcast, and he had, what's his name? The Wolf of Wall Street dude on there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Bedford.
I'll look it up.
But Jordan Belfort.
Belfort.
Yeah. So Sam had Jordan Belfort on his podcast during that time. And because Jordan had started like pretty much knocking like doors of businesses, when he started like, his entrepreneurial hustle. It's a hard word for me, by the way. Anyway, so they were talking about door to door and all of this. And Jordan was like, yeah, but it's COVID. Nobody's knocking doors right now. And Sam was like, I got a company I'm consulting in Utah right now, dude, and they're going ham and they're doing great. He's like, you guys got people in Utah knocking doors right now? He's like, hell yeah. And they were talking about JKR Windows.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
No, dude, that was same thing. All the photographers and everybody who was like niched down on a specific, like I do weddings or I do like something specific. They, mostly business to consumer for the most part. That was all like gone for so long, all the photographers I like looked up to were just done. Mm-hmm. And like, obviously we're in such an awesome place, but I'm like, dude, that's what's awesome about working business to business. If they want to stay afloat, they need marketing. Like marketing is a cry for help, period. You don't see In-N-Out running ads. You don't, they just throw that fucking check up and you got people coming, throw some palm trees and they know where to go. And, but it's interesting too, like during that whole time, how same thing, I was able to grow my business, like just cause I was like, fuck every restriction and you know what I mean?
Yep.
But again, people were still calling me because they're like, I need to put food on my table, and mostly realtors, but shit's got to keep going on. And,
Yeah.
But
I think that was Jeff.
COVID was sick.
Very much being authentic to himself.
Oh, totally. We have to
You
have
know.
him on here, man.
Yeah.
I think so. Like
I just told him, we were on the phone right before this about our loan stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm hopping on the Authentic Identity podcast. And he's like, oh, is that what they're calling it?
yeah.
He's like, I like it.
He's coming over this weekend for my content
Hell
podcast.
yeah.
We're
Hell
just
yeah.
going to shoot the shit in here again.
Hell
Same
yeah.
thing.
He's up at that big old event, or going right now
Yeah.
to that big old mastermind event.
Yeah. There's
up
like
there.
28 speakers or some shit.
Yeah, dude, that's huge.
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 It's going to be huge. But dude, being around people like that, right? Like I got an interesting mix during COVID because I was in corporate sales doing software sales, and they sent all of us home right away. They just complied fully. There was so much fear and so much whatever, and I just hadn't surrounded myself with like good people that I like legitimately respected. I was kind of gaffing off, and so I didn't really do anything to like secure my position at the company. I just kind of sat back, did my job, collected a paycheck like a piece of shit. It was great. So when they, a couple, like probably 4 months into COVID, they like announced layoffs, and I was like, I'm on that list for sure. And I was at the top of it. And I was like, okay, cool. And then me and Mal had already got this house thanks to Mal's job. She was salaried, so she had a big fat paycheck, and she got this house on her own. It's fucking awesome. Like, she's
nice
such a
sugar
badass
mama, huh?
Yeah.
Mal is
she's
the
the shit.
everything behind this podcast, by the way.
Everything. Dude, she's this whole company. So if you ever see a podcast come out of Blue Form Media, just know that it's gone through Mallory's attentive eye, attentive ear to the sound.
Oh, that's why they suck.
No, that's why they were good. But so when we moved down here, it was like I got in with Jared. That's how we met, and met Jefferson, and then I eventually met you.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all because of JKR Windows.
Yep.
And we just didn't let that COVID shit affect us. They just didn't comply. We chose not to believe it. We chose to research it and just make a decision for ourselves. And the risk, it was more risky to comply than it was to just operate as normal.
Yep.
And so as a door knocker, I knocked on the tail end of COVID with Jared over here, and we just blew up. And so I saw the compliance side of it, and then I saw the Jefferson like getting kicked out of Harmon's side, and like I didn't see that happen. I know you were there. I wanted to ask you, like, so when you guys got kicked off the Delta flight and everybody was clapping, you said, were they clapping because they agreed with you guys?
No, they were clapping because we were getting off the flight. Because like it was immediately we walked in. Jeff had a Starbucks in his hand, had his mask like down. And immediately the flight attendant was just like bad on Jeff, like strike one. And then she's like, put your mask on. He walks back to the seat. Again, they're doing aisle checks, and he's sipping his Starbucks, right? And strike two. And then I'm just sitting right next to him, or a row over, sorry. And so I'm watching everything. And then I think she said, put your mask up. He puts it up, and then again walked by one more time, and he took another drink, and she's like, that's it, you're up, you're out. And he's like, fucking what?
Ridiculous.
And she was just like, this was when all the people were like fucking punching flight attendants and shit, and it was like sketchy.
Well, that's when people who wore masks were like heroes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You were a hero.
Yeah, you're a hero, and like what a good fucking marketing. Jesus
I
Christ.
got 2 strikes on a plane one time, but not that there.
Well, we didn't even take off yet. We were just fucking sitting down. Obviously, they threw a jump shoot or threw us out with some parachutes. No.
We were over the Atlantic.
But no, immediately, dude, they were like, nope, you're up. And he's like, I'm just taking, and it, like, I'll be honest, they didn't really, he was, he likes
contention.
He doesn't like authority. That's
but he also, I feel like that one was like, dude, come on, like, give him a fucking break. Like, I think he was not deserving to get kicked off. But, and then again, she's like, nope, you guys are done, you're out. And so we get up, and everyone's like, yeah, clapping. And I had my headphones in, like acting like I'm not hearing. And I was like, because dude, we're going to Nashville, and we had to get on a fucking flight, stay the night, and fly out in a private jet to Long Island the next day. And so I'm like, fuck, dude, what do we do? So Morgan, his old assistant, was sitting next to me, and we're like, well, we got to stick together. So we get up and go, because I was like, I don't, like, do we get off or do we keep going? And so we all get off. And anyway, she's like, I'm blacklisting you. You're never going to fly with Delta again, blah, 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 blah. Morgan ended up booking us some Southwest flights to San Jose, and then San Jose to Nashville. Ended up working out. But it was funny because the next trip me and Jeff did. We were going to the Starbucks that's right by that same gate, and that fucking flight attendant was there, and Jeff's like, hey, how are you? And she's like, so good, how are you? Had no idea. Just killing her with kindness, and she was like just saying all this good stuff about him, and I was just cracking up, and obviously they still
that's good on
fly
Jeff,
again.
though.
Yeah,
that's good on him. Like, I think that's the proper response, is to stand up and not be spiteful. I don't think I would be a big enough man to do that. I'd be like, do you remember me?
Oh,
I'd be
no.
like, oh, you hairy fucking bitch. You kicked me off the flight.
No,
I would have.
No, he didn't even bring it up, but she had no idea. She just is like, you look familiar. And she said something like that. And it's just so funny how he played
I
it
just
off.
have that face.
But we, that dude, when me and Jeff were flying all the time, dude, it was exhausting, but it was so fun. Like, it was like, what's next? What's next?
And it was during COVID. So you guys were
Oh, yeah. But it was, that was cool though, but it was cool how he made a pivot too, because like the business, obviously with all the brothers leaving and stuff, like shit got a little shaky. And so next year he kind of pivoted and said, all right, I got to stay home and kind of run the ship a little bit better, because he was just so gone so much, So obviously though, making a pivot, doing whatever he needed to do. Now you guys are back up.
Breaking records, dog.
Yeah, breaking records. So it's cool. It's respectable.
This will be a record month.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are killing it, man.
One record for St. George and record for the door-to-door, both offices.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, the market, dude. What's going on with the market? The market's the worst right now, but people are still thriving. What's up with that?
Just out here closing deals, son.
Weird.
Just, it's so weird.
That's all it
isn't
is. Well, that's what's unique about door-to-door is like, if you need a lead, you just go knock a door. And if that's not a lead, you knock another door. There's going to be someone that needs to replace their windows.
It's contacts.
That's just it, man.
And the product too is for every homeowner.
Yeah.
Every single homeowner.
I sold some people last night, dude, and they were like just super nonchalant and like, going through everything. They were not getting approved for the full financing and just a bunch of shit.
Now you can let them in.
And just like, kind of working all the way through it. And finally we got something that would work for them. And they're just nonchalant, dude, like no emotion or anything. So I'm like, hey, well, what questions do you guys have? Like, oh, no questions. You explain it really well. So I was like, okay, I got a question for you. They're like, what's that? I was like, are you guys excited or what? And they're like, actually, yeah, we are excited. I love this. I love that. And it was like I just had to infuse or just bring it out of them, bro. Sorry. But then they just started talking about how excited they are to have this issue solved. And that's what it is, man. Like we solve problems.
That's all. Yep. That's any sales job, right?
You solve problems. You generate your own lead. You can have as many leads as hard as you want to work. And you're solving their problems. You're like affecting the quality of their lives. Yeah. And they're fucking happy about it, man.
Yeah. That's why I love to like thinking about just again, I had like in maybe July, I think I had like 2 slower weeks than normal, which would probably just be a normal week for most people. But I'm just so used to like constant people needing me, this, that. And like it kind of chilled for a second. I was like, huh. And it was nice to take a little break and breathe for a second. But then it got me thinking again, like going back to working, just being the solopreneur, like working in my business versus on it. And I'm like, you know what, dude, what can I do to like, so I've been going hard on obviously just putting in work because I had, was making all these investments and spending all this fucking money. I'm like, dude, you got to perform, which has been good. But then I'm like, you know what, like, what do I want in my business? And it's like longevity. I want, consistent income, stuff like that. And, anyways, just thought about doing more of like the retainer based, social media stuff and made a quick pivot, talked with one of my social media girls and created a plan. And now it's like our full, trying to be our full thing now. And now I'm, again, we signed 2 clients so far. It's been great. But yeah, just doing more and more meetings, but it's so simple, dude, because everybody needs social media and it's the same thing. Like any business owner needs social media. Okay. But how much social media do you want, So just creating a price, like, what are you guys comfortable with spending? Perfect. We'll make a plan for that, and it's just like done deal. You just find what people can budget for and then create the most amount of value. And they're like, this is you know, they know that that's what they need.
Yeah.
Great. Find a price that works for you. Great. And then we'll just deliver that amount of value. It's
a huge, it's a big problem to solve. Social media, it's so daunting to a lot of people. But you talked about pivots, though, to bring it back to your identity, right, as a person, right? At what point, this is to everybody here, what points, like within your personal development or your personal life, what points did you pivot that like made all the difference?
You're talking about like pivoting, like when you're playing basketball?
Yeah, like
exactly.
pick and roll.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Also, before you dive into that, how you doing on time?
Good.
You good?
Yeah.
It's almost 6 o'clock.
That tequila is some smooth shit, dude. Holy shit.
It is nice, isn't it?
That's smooth.
It is. It's a sipping tequila.
It's a sip. Take a little sippy.
Anyway, Mitch, take it away.
One more time, the question.
Pivot.
The pivots in your life, like in regards to your identity, your authentic self. What pivots did you make? And you don't have to go into detail unless you want to, but like, you know, sum it up. If you reflect back on your life, like, I don't know, was it a certain group of friends that you parted ways with, or a certain group of friends that you joined, or a certain decision that you made around something or whatever, career move?
I think it's just the intuition. Like if you got that feeling inside of like, okay, dude, this feels good or doesn't feel good, you know, listen to your intuition. More importantly, figure out what you want, and then start to like, I think we talked about this last time a little bit with the universe, but like figure out exactly what you want, feel how good that might feel, right? Like, okay, what does it look like? Paint the picture, feel the energy from it, and raise your vibration. And then again, those are where my pivots happen. Like if something didn't feel right, that's where you pivot into.
Right.
Like that's the best part about life is if you can find contrast, you can find what you want. Like notice what your emotions tell you. All right, my emotions are feeling bad about this, which means I probably want the contrast, meaning I want that instead. So let me shift my focus to that. And then boom, there you go. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And then it feels good. That's a good pivot. Is anytime you run into something where your emotional guidance system is telling you, I feel bad about this, then go like pivot the other way. Or if I feel good about it, lean into it. But I would say that's just go with the flow, listen to your emotions and feel what things feel like. If it feels right, lean into it. If it feels wrong, what do you want that's different about this situation, or you know what I mean? Something like that, to where I feel like that's where most of my pivots happen, just using your emotions.
Again,
I've done it
intuitive.
I've done it very I've drifted for a lot of it and just done it naturally, but now I'm starting to wake up to it even more.
Yeah.
And
how
really
much let me ask you a follow-on question, because that's a beautiful point, but how much does comfort play into that?
Ooh, it's again, going back to like what you want and then what it takes. Like I want to be or have an X portfolio of real estate, but what does that fucking take? It takes spending a lot of money, lots of stress and back and forth. Like right now, like I may or may not lose this deal, this duplex. It's like the smallest loan I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
With Jeff, but it's
a nightmare.
Like our financing appraisal deadline hits, so our earnest money's hard now. So if we lose, we fucked. They got a backup offer waiting that's probably cash over ours. So if they don't accept our addendum, like we're fucked. But again, like taking those kind of risks to like, again,
and that's not a comfortable.
No, it's not fucking comfortable.
No.
It's been stressful as fuck. And
because I think it's important, because I totally agree with your emotion. Like going off that intuitive, like understanding who you are and what jives with you. Emotions are a huge part of that, but a lot of people use emotions to justify
not doing something,
avoiding, or like staying comfy.
Now, you know,
or
knowing
fixing something,
knowing that I've done a deal a certain way before or had a success from that pushes you through. So like, again, right now, yes, it feels uncomfortable. It feels shaky, but I know on the other side, the grass is greener. Like it's going to pay off. That's like when you build that, confidence in yourself that, like that's the cool part too. If you build enough confidence within yourself to like always perform, you can put yourself in pretty much any situation and you're going to find a way to like make it work.
So this isn't your first real estate deal?
No.
So what if this was your first real estate deal though?
I mean,
would you approach it differently, you think?
No, just because again, I lean off of like, I mean, every deal is a new deal and it's a new situation. And like this one I've never dealt with before. It's a whole unique situation. But like, again, surrounding yourself with the team that could hopefully fucking deliver.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Like normally though, you have a team that's going to be like support you. Okay. I don't know all the ins and outs of title and escrow and this and fucking all the things in between. So that's why I hire the right people that can get the job done. I supply the cash. Boom. But like, again, having the team to back me up, like even on Tuesday, they're like, hey, our money goes hard. Like, you guys in? And I'm like, are we going to get the fucking loan or not? And they're like, seems like it. And Jeff said yes. And so I'm like, all right. And I mean, same with Jeff too. Like even right now at the conversation we just had on the phone, I was like, dude, I don't know how to feel about all this. He's like, I feel good. I feel good about it. And I just like, trust Jeff. Like it's just trust, and because your mind will play tricks on you. But
that's interesting, dude. Your mind plays tricks on you, I think, all the time. If you're looking for comfortable situations, that's where your mind plays tricks on you the most. I found it's like when you're wanting to be comfy, like the moments where I was like in the Marine Corps, like dying under like 100 pounds of weight on like a 20-mile ruck or whatever, like your mind, you just long for that comfort, man. When is this going to end? When am I going to be comfortable again? But then you learn pretty quick to just fucking push that out of your mind.
Yeah.
And just
focus. The depression that comes with like stagnant, like for some, most high producers, like if you're just sitting there in the comfort zone, depression. Like you just sit there like, fuck, what am I doing, man? Like you can again, you can be making more money than you've ever made, but if you're like comfortable about it, you feel like you're dying. Like if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's like we're always pushing the goalpost further and further, but you just got to like learn to love it and be okay with it because that's what it takes. And that's what's going to keep you like going and going and going. Cause I've realized that for myself. I've constantly pushed the horizon just further and further and further. But like I struggle with staying stagnant. Like I said, I had 2 weeks and I'm like, the fuck's going on, man? Like, is my business? And my mind just starts like playing all these negative narratives and you start believing those narratives when you can easily pull yourself back out of it and say, nope, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it and get it done.
That's my major thing. If I start feeling any sort of way, I just get busy.
Yeah.
I'll pull out my schedule and just start planning or whatever it is. And it just
take action.
Take action, dude. And Grant Cardone says that too.
It just calms you, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Do some calls or fucking do something to get some motion going. Like you got to get momentum and
it's for me, it's so calming, dude, just to start game planning.
Yeah. It feels good.
Feels good. I'm like, okay, I'm getting shit done. I'm checking boxes, getting a little dopamine hit from it. And with like emotion, I try to, because I've made decisions out of emotion before and they've been not the best decisions. So I try to look at, okay, why am I feeling this way? And instead of pointing the finger, be like, okay, this person's making me feel this way. It's okay, what did I do to make them act in a way to make me feel this way? And just try to be like, take extreme ownership.
Yeah.
And be super introspective. And okay, it's coming from somewhere. It's like a legend. It comes from somewhere, So let me just start figuring out what it is, whether I got to have conversations, assume best intentions, seek to understand, start really unpacking whatever it is. And a lot of the times, it's just lack of communication. Blake and I, we've gone rounds and rounds. We've sit in rooms and yelled and fucking cried with each other and all sorts of stuff. I've had the most professional tension, not with Blake, another individual, but in terms of my growth, it's Blake in my professional life because we've always been able to come to a resolution. I've had a recent scenario with someone. It was like, man, I got to crack this code. And it got to the point where it was uncrackable. We had to remove him. And now things have,
yeah, I think you said that last time,
and, but I just look at those things as opportunities for me to level myself up. And what am I doing to cause this? Okay. And now that I understand what I did to cause this, that started to make me feel this emotions, now we're more so on the same page and we can start, you know, you want the same thing. It's just, you want the same thing differently. And as long as you open up those lines of communication, now you can understand where they're coming from, where you're coming from. And now we're rowing in the same direction.
Any relationship.
Yeah.
You know? That's that's the truth.
It is. It's crazy to think, like, see, what's crazy is you're sitting here, Mitch, in this podcast with me and Jared, and I'm sitting here, Jared's sitting here because of micro pivots that we've made. For you, knowing your story or what I know about your story, the pivot that strikes me the most is when you invested in a camera that you knew nothing about.
Yeah. That was the biggest pivot of my life. 100%.
I know I can do that. And they're like, you can? And you're like lying to them. But in your mind, you're like, I can figure this out. Mm-hmm. And you knew shit about that camera. But what was it, like $2,400? You bought a camera? It was one of those like 3D modeling cameras.
One,
the Matterport. And then that's like shaped your business, shaped how you earn income, and shaped you to put yourself with people that, you know, you ended up videographing for, Jefferson, namely. And then you bump into us. Like that little pivot for us, me and Mal, it was like just getting out of this fog of northern Utah and moving down to St. George was a huge, scary pivot, because Mal is so good with her money and she's busted her ass. She's probably the hardest working person I know, male or female. And she's just busted her ass. And I see that. And then getting her to believe in buying a home, it was like, she just couldn't see it for a while. She started seeing it. And now obviously she saw it enough to follow through. But I made her
buying
so
your first home is
uncomfortable.
scary as fuck.
It is, dude.
You're signing up for this massive amount of debt, and you're just like, can I make that payment? Yeah, that's all that's in your mind. You're
That's
like,
a
can I
huge
consistently
obligation.
make that? What if I lose this? What if? Like, same with my big ass house I bought, $550,000. Like, nobody buys a $500,000 home for their first home, but I'm like, can I do it? And I'm like, okay, I need enough rooms to rent because I'm not making this payment. My goal was to house hack, you know, but it's
roommates.
It's scary as fuck. If you're signing up to live by yourself, like, it's scary, dude. It's not fucking easy.
Well, do you know what the root word for mortgage, like that term?
Mortality?
It literally means like death grip. Mm-hmm. Like mortality. Mortgage is like,
I faced the worst case scenario. I did the same thing. I bought a house when I was 20.
You fucked up, huh? Not you, but
I fucked up.
I think you did everything right.
But, you know, house hack, I rented out the 2 rooms, and, you know, I had a brand new house, and after renting out the 2 rooms, $1,000 a month out of pocket, you know?
Yeah.
And
then the housing crash.
There's something called the Great Recession that ended up happening, but it's like, I'm thankful that I was young enough for it to happen at 20 years old or 21 by the time that it happened, that it's like most people aren't buying homes until they're a little bit older than that anyway.
I think
how much does that fear though, like, live with you?
It did for a while. Now I'm very much like, man, I just don't foresee it happening like it did. There could always there's ebbs and flows to it. Market goes up and down. Right now, the market didn't really go down. It's just the interest rates went up, you know? But at the same time, it's just like, look, that is what it is. What it taught me was I can meet rock bottom. I can have a great job. I can buy a house. I can do all this stuff. I could lose it all because I did. And right now I'm way like, you know,
you know what that's like.
Yeah. And that's one of my biggest concerns moving back to Southern Utah was I going to be able to have an opportunity to make enough money? Mm-hmm. Now I'm looking at probably 7 figures in the next year. This is from moving back to Southern Utah, you know, and it's just built a confidence in myself. I can always rebuild, and I can't be afraid to make a move. You're never going to hit 100% of the shots that you make. The thing is, you just got to fucking keep shooting because you're going to hit 0% of 0%. You know what I'm saying?
Answer's always no unless you ask.
Exactly. So if anything,
I fucking live by that, dude.
Yeah. If anything, it built like utmost confidence in myself that it doesn't matter what happens to me, whether it's financially, whether it's health wise, I can fucking rebuild because like I feel like I'm as resilient as they come, man.
It's funny too when you get like most people start to perform once they hit that part of their life, meaning like you know, even if you got ill, everybody again is so just walking the earth, doesn't think twice about their health. But until they get terminally ill, they immediately start to try to focus on how can I get better, right? Or even just sick, a cold, whatever it is. Like they take it for granted until they get to that, and then their immediate focus is how can I get better? Yeah. And again, your focus pulls you out of it. Like you don't just sit there and I'm thick.
Some people do.
Some people do, and they stay sick for a while.
Yeah, or they succumb. And I mean, ultimately, we don't have control when we go, but it's like you basically. It's interesting. I think we've been programmed by society and by the powers that be and the education system and all this stuff that like is almost conspiratorially against us. But we've been programmed a certain way to veer away from our authentic self, to veer away from like our true capabilities.
Yep.
And so we're so people succumb to fear. They're so overwhelmed with fear about
that's what we're programmed to
missing
do.
a payment, going bankrupt, or taking a risk and putting in the work that's needed for you to like become who you were meant to be and to become truly self-sufficient and sovereign, right? That word is so important to me. A sovereign individual is someone who has, all of the purest form of the word is someone who has all of their life, like everything is in their control. They take responsibility for everything. Like obviously we're not going to get there because we still have to rely on infrastructure to get like water and sewage and all that. But like there's so much out there that you can take of your sovereignty. And there's so much authenticity when you do that. And we've been conditioned not to go that way. We've been conditioned to be an employee, to just be averse to risk and not take risks and not, get your hands slapped away in a recession or like, because nobody at age 20 in my generation and your generation, like our age, nobody at age 20, I don't know a single person that lost or was affected by the recession. You're the only one I know. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people my age, but none of us had houses, right? Only you did. You're the only person I know that had a house. And so, yeah, you got slapped by that. So that's like a very rare thing that you own that nobody else does. But what do you guys think about that? Like, I just think we're programmed to shy away from our authenticity and to really like own aspects of our life. It's just this like, it's by design.
Yeah.
They don't want us to do that.
By design, like I touched on it last time, but as soon as you give birth, you're at your truest living, your authentic self, right? When you get birth, but then you just start doing what humans do, and that's consume and consuming what's around you. And then again, due to your parents' conditioning, everything, you start to lose that authenticity. And so again, going back to the emotional guidance system, which is the truth, your authentic self, if you can use that to navigate your way back to your, it's going to be hard to be 100% there. There's always going to be something
never there.
But you can strive for it, but you can, again, use what feels good to you to like align yourself back with your authentic self. But
find. And I think what I get from that is find what inspires you. Yeah. Like, because inspiration is a motherfucker.
It's what you want.
Motivation is fleeting. Discipline takes care of that. But finding what truly inspires you, you'll find fucking energy you didn't even know that you had.
Do you think that sometimes inspiration is surrounded by personal fear? Because sometimes I feel inspired to do something, and then immediately my subconscious is like, no.
Yeah.
Too risky, too afraid,
and
too scared.
I would say that's conditioning.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not real fear. It's just like you're conditioned.
Yeah, it's conditioned to be like, well, hey, did you think about this? Because I'm innately a problem solver. I don't care what the fuck it is. I'm like, I can do it. Whether it's confidence or whatever it is, it's just something since I was this little fucking kid. It was just, I'd put my mind to it and it didn't matter what it took to do it. I just knew I was going to do it. And whatever I had to deal with to get to that point, I didn't care because I was focused on the main thing. Yeah. And I get people telling me, they're like, it's fucking crazy. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna drive here, and then you're gonna turn around and drive there, and you're gonna like that just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, because you're
dad.
And to me,
Dad
I'm like,
always-
it's not fucking crazy.
He's the one that's all, are you sure? You can do this? You can afford that?
Same.
You can do, like, my dad's always the cautious guy, and he's just feeding that
that conditioning.
energy. But I don't know, dude. Sometimes I love my dad and I look up to him for a lot of things, but you also got to like
Raise
think
your prices,
about-
bitch.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
gotta
helped you out too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's
Dude,
been-
he's helped
it's
me
been a
with
healthy
everything, but with some of the mindset stuff of like the belief in myself, like sometimes he makes me not want to believe in myself, and so that's like where I got to really be like, no, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm meant to, you know. My grandpa's like way more clicked on that sense. Like he's like, oh, dude, you're doing exactly what you need to do. Like, blah, 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 blah.
Damn, dude.
But just gasses me up about it. But it's all about the conviction you have within yourself to perform. If you doubt it, you might not.
You guys
But
just-
if you had 100% deliberate, like
Burn the boats, dog.
yeah, burn the boats type of
Man, you guys just taught me something, dude. You just taught me something. Like, because I thought maybe it was just this fear, but I just realized as you were talking, Jared, and you just put a cherry on top of that motherfucker, dude. Like,
Sprinkles.
just sprinkles on that donut. But that's straight milk. What you just said, dude. That was milk, straight from the udder.
Right, dog.
whole milk or 2%.
Oh, whole
It's
milk,
vitamin
dude.
D, dog.
Straight from the udder, dog. Straight milk up in here. But the fear that you feel is not fear. Like, I'm not afraid of running my own business. I've been afraid of running my own business because I'm afraid of what people will think if I fail. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid of the I told you so's. Like that, I think a lot of people are in that stage where they're like, you're not really afraid of who you could become. You're afraid of
What people-
maybe the path to get there might be hard or it's unclear. And then you're afraid of going against the conditioning almost.
Yeah.
Because nobody's afraid. Everybody's like, I want to be a millionaire. Like that song, I want to be a millionaire so fucking bad. Right? I want to be a billionaire. I want a yacht. I want all these things. Like, no one's afraid of a Lamborghini, like, in their driveway. Mm-hmm. They're just afraid of what it takes to get there, and they're afraid of, like, being mocked. Mm-hmm. Whether it's from your close family or friends or from the internet. Like, I think a lot of people are scared to put their ideas on the internet in a podcast like this because they're afraid of, like, what people will say in the comments. Mm-hmm. And that it will reaffirm what they think about themselves. Like, oh man, maybe my beard looks stupid, or maybe I sound like a fucking idiot when I talk about conspiracies. But like, they're just afraid of that, not the actual outcome. They're just afraid of that. Like the fear that the steps that it takes to get there. And then also the abrasive nature of whatever it is in life. If you stand up for yourself and you do what you know is true to you, it's naturally going to be abrasive around people that you love and care about.
Dude, that's
Even a
so
spouse.
true. The judgment of other people affects probably all of that. Because again, say the world could still go on and do what it does, but like delete everybody. Like, would that affect what your decision?
Yeah.
Your decision making, you know, like without hearing any sort of outside perspective, you know,
Yeah, that's a great point.
Negative.
Yeah, if you were
outside
like in a
perspective.
vacuum, like a perfect scenario where there was no other influences, like who would you be?
I'll tell you, when I was working at Black Bear, I remember I had a day where my friend Ashley Lund, she's all about universe, you know, aligning shit, whatever. And she's like, Mitch, she said something to me about like negativity doesn't exist. Like negativity doesn't exist. And I just like took it and ran with it. And I'm like, dude, you know what? Today in my world, negativity is not going to exist. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to completely snow globe myself into a space of positivity. And like normally in a restaurant, you're hearing this happened, food's cold. It's just a bunch of bitching and complaining, negativity. And I was like, you know what, man, not today. And that whole day I was like kind of just singing a little bit, doing my thing, filling up drinks. And, you know, people behind me, they're saying shit, but I didn't hear it. I'm like, nope,
Didn't
I'm in my
exist.
zone. I'm like, it's me, this person at this table. I'm going to give them the best fucking experience I can. And I'm just killing them with kindness, giving them the most fucking Mitch energy I can ever give. Just deliberate focus when I'm at the table for each person.
Yeah.
And it was like $25 tip. Like normally I'm getting like $3 to $6 tips, like on average, you know.
You gave 'em a
It's like a
mouthful,
little
dog.
small table, and then it's like $25, $25, 25. What do you say?
Gave him a mouthful of Mitch.
Mouthful of Mitch. I sure did. But 25, like, dude, just people slinging money. And then one of my last tables of the day, which I didn't even take that many, and I made so much money that day. And last table of the day, this regular I had was like, you know what? She's like, I'm going down to Mesquite today. And she goes, you're just giving me the best energy. She's going to go gamble. And she's like, here. Slaps $100 bill in my hand. And I'm like, you're going to fucking win today. And I'm just all gassed up, fired up. But it was just an interesting thing. Cause again, just shifting into like deliberate, this is going to be the best day ever. And I'm going to get the best tips ever. Like it happened, you know? And after that day, I'm like, oh dude, I got to do this more often.
Yeah, you're like focused on it so much so.
But
intentional
it's,
about it.
being so intentional and not giving a fuck about what anybody says. Just be present, you know, give everybody your fullest attention.
Yeah, being authentic to who you are.
Yeah, and I was.
I think that's a nice, like, all of that just led up to, like, what this podcast is about, right?
It's really the code that we need to crack. I think Mitch just cracked it with a mouthful of Mitch.
Yep. This is your
Mitch.
mouthful of Mitch segment of the podcast.
But dude,
give it to him, Mitch.
We need to change that on our intros, Mitch Rose, the mouthful.
A mouthful of Mitchell Bros.
Yeah.
But dude, Mal and I have been talking about this. It's so awesome running a podcast or running a podcasting business, but running a business with your spouse, I think, is amazing. But I had this thought the other day. It was like, every couple, whether you're married or not, if you're in a relationship that's worth a damn that you're pushing towards, every couple already works together. Right? Like, I'm like, oh, I work with my spouse. And I've been like, man, me and Mal have been able to solve and come to agreements and like understand each other better and faster. And we've gone through more hard things because we started a business together. But all the business did it just accelerated that, right? And I was like, well, we still would have needed to learn how to communicate without, even if she worked somewhere else and I worked somewhere else, we would still need to communicate better. We would still need these things in our relationship. And every couple works together. If you have a household together and you got wife, kids, dogs, you got any type of pet, you got a household to manage, you're working with your spouse. Even if she's a stay-at-home mom or you're a stay-at-home dad, you're working together.
You guys are partners.
Yeah, you're partnered up. And so obviously I think an accelerant, like putting nitrous into the gas, into the fucking fuel, is starting a business that you're both involved with. That's going to like just force you out of comfort zones to like grow. But like everybody's working together. Everybody, if you're not working together with your spouse, like reevaluate your relationship and figure out how you can work together. Even if it's just who's going to take the trash out and who's going to clean the kitchen or whatever, like all that stuff is work. And like what you guys are talking about is just phenomenal. Like this authentic identity that we're talking about, all of this stuff ties into all of these things. And it's just, we're hitting the mark right now of what it means to be your authentic self, is to just unpack this programming and to just communicate with other people really about what you want in life and communicating with yourself and being honest with yourself. I think that's what Mitch has done more than anybody I know your age. If you're that tied into your emotions, dude, like, you know who you are more than, probably 80% of the kids your age. It's like, what are you, 24?
80% of the people that are even much older than Blake and I.
Yeah.
That's why I really have a high regard for you, man, is because, if you were doing what you're doing now at 40, I'd be like, oh, that dude's doing it, But to be, closing in on 25, I just can have more respect for you, man. And like, you inspire me.
Thanks, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's I I agree though. It has been just like saying, you know what, dude, fuck everybody else's opinion. I'm going to do what I want to do and do what's like true to me and just stick with it. And dude, I couldn't tell you when
It's worked out well for your brother.
Grabbed the camera, like my brother, I remember a distinct conversation that my mom had about the videography business. She's like, fuck it, let Mitch try it. Just let him get it out of his system. That's what she said. Just let him get it out. But again, like, I think with a mix of my addictive nature and some ADHD, the obsessionness that you have when you focus on something, it just like you're all in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what your parents did and what people, they let you own something.
Yeah.
Right. So I was telling this on some of the earlier episodes before we got you involved, was like, I was never allowed to own anything that I did growing up. If I got caught up with school or got a good grade, like I couldn't even own that. I did it because it was expected of me. So it wasn't really my choice. And so the only thing I could own and literally like follow through with and like it's mine was my choice. As soon as I turned 18, I joined the Marine Corps. Right. I owned that shit. And I saw people that were with me every step of the way and they fucking hated the Marine Corps. And I loved it. I loved the military structure. And people are like, well, Blake, you hate being told what to do. Yeah, but if I choose to join this fraternity of men and warfighters, like that's my choice. I like to be told what I'm doing, what to do. Like if I'm there, I want orders. I want to be instructed to go do something because I fucking chose to be there. I own that part of my identity. And so the fact that you had a family that like supported you and said, just let them do it. Like I find when people talk about that stuff, I get jealous because I did everything that I wanted to do, but I had nobody in my corner at that young age.
Supported.
Nobody, and everything in the opposite direction I was expected to do. And so my two worlds went like this, and I had military and some contracting work, but then I also had to be like a good Mormon priesthood holding husband and do exactly what my family wants me to do so they look good on Sunday. And I was going this way. And so eventually, just out of survival, I had to fucking cut and sever that tie. And I'm like, I have to let this go. Otherwise, I'm going to die.
That's interesting. Yeah. It like that probably does play a huge part in just the stage that I'm at. I think right now is just that like my parents have always just given me full freedom to choose. And I've never, the responsibility was mine to patch that up if I fucked up or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, you owned every inch of it.
Yeah, my mom's like, you guys want to have sex? Perfect. She stocked fucking condoms in the garage for me and my brother. She's like, you guys want to get some ass? Fucking use these. But she said, if you get someone pregnant, it's fucking on you. And I'm like, thanks. She goes, if the fucking bin goes empty, I'll restock it. I'm like, thanks. Or if you guys go party.
That thing was empty the next day. Yeah.
It was a rager.
Yeah, Mom, can you buy bigger?
Fucking orgy and shit.
I need the ultra max.
I need the extra small just to cover the tip. Just a
those
little helmet.
They use did you ever use at the restaurant? You got the little finger condoms when you got a cut on your finger. You see those?
I've never seen those.
Yeah, bro. They got these little finger condoms if you cut your finger.
That is awesome.
Oh, if you're like cooking in the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've always just given full ownership. You guys drink, don't drive, just call me, like anything, dude. But it's that is interesting. Like the parenting style, I guarantee you that's helped me get to where I am is not having such like harsh order over me. And like I've never thought to rebel, sneak out. No, just tell them I'm going here. I'm going to fuck.
Yeah, I was what they call I think it was generations before me, but a latchkey kid. No supervision. Was always able to do basically whatever the fuck I wanted to do. My parents only asked me for, I think my grades one time in 7th grade ever. And I think they didn't even ask me. I showed them. It's like, look. And they weren't good. They were like, oh, you need to do better.
Mine were always like, I was scared. And that's another thing going with fear. It's like I've always been like fear of not like
meeting
fear
expectations.
Yeah. And so I'm constantly like acting out of fear, which
it's hard to unpack. Like
Yeah.
it's not something you just switch off.
Yeah. But I've always been like, dude, my dad would be like, Mitch, you want to go to the mall and get some shoes? I'm like, no, Dad, I got homework. It's like, who fucking says that, you know? And
Isn't
but
that
I was
weird?
always like, I can never procrastinate. No, I can't play until I get my work done.
That's so weird. I wonder how, because like we have this interesting dynamic between us three where you had like zero supervision. So you have this like blank canvas. Obviously, I mean, your upbringing was rough.
Yeah.
I've heard the stories. And then you had like a good household, right? Not the same upbringing as him.
It's like the pampered,
Middle class
kid. Yeah.
But the difference between you and me is because I had a pampered middle class kid growing up too. Like I never needed or wanted, like I wanted plenty, but like I never needed for anything. And I was kind of coddled. And then the difference between you and me was my parents exacted like communistic control over every aspect of my life. So I had no choice but to rebel.
Yeah.
Because I had no identity. I could not be myself. And like you had your identity though, and then you was supported in that. And it's interesting because we both come from a very similar middle class background like that. Hardworking parents, right? Like a little bit of blue collar in you, right? You know, because your families, you said they're true
Dad's
cowboys.
fireman, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no. Yeah. Dad's firefighter. Yeah. But my mom was,
fireman.
Yeah. Fireman.
Yeah.
My mom just kind of raised us for the most part.
Stay at home mom.
Stay at home, but she, as soon as like spousal support kind of dried up, she went out and started doing restaurant serving
Oh, cool.
stuff. But
Yeah,
we're
so
not
she-
like fucking cowboys, but we
You
like
have
that's
some-
like our culture. Like we
Yeah.
love everything country and all the things with that.
That's awesome, man. And I think my parents gave me a great, youth, but once I started becoming who I could have been, like I just was suppressed. And so the only option I had was to get out of there and go choose something for myself that I could own. And that was the military for the most part. But then, when I was doing both and I was trying to appease both worlds, like I aged 26, it took me till I was 26 to like really take some decisive action. And I had to sever some ties with my family. I think I've been disowned by my parents probably 3 times unofficially, that I get out of here and never come back.
Are you excommunicated or
No.
You never got that.
Nah, I never.
That in the weeds?
No. I mean, if they interviewed me now, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, but
Watch this
no.
podcast.
Yeah, it's interesting though. We've all kind of tapped into some portion of our authentic identity. We're still unpacking it
Yeah.
as life develops, but how we got there was completely different. I think it's fucking fascinating, and I've learned like 7 different things from you guys today. It was great. But yeah, what else should we talk about? How are you guys feeling? How's that cigar treating you?
Well, I got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I got to go pick up the chitlins. Take them to California in the
FTK,
morning for
bro.
a funeral.
Or
I know, FTK, dude. I was yelling FTK like 10, 11 years ago before I ever saw it as a meme or anything. I'm not saying it came from me, but it might have.
But it might have.
No, I think Bernie Mac, dude. Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
I sent that
Fuck
you.
them kids.
Didn't I send that to you?
Yeah.
You said you sent me FTK and I sent you the Bernie Mac thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of like, because I grew up like just crazy dysfunction, drug addicts, seeing violence and just a lot of just stuff a child shouldn't be exposed to. But a tribute to my parents because they've always supported me. They've always just trusted me that because they saw that I was always going to be, I don't know, always, but I just feel like from their perspective, they knew that I was going to do better than them. They knew that I was that person that just had what it took to do things. And they've always just had tremendous support for me. And, in going into business or going into a full commission jobs or whatever it is, they've never been that voice of like, well, you think about this? They're just like, I trust that you're going to make the right decision.
Yeah.
Based off of what you've done, I have no choice but to trust you.
That's
and
amazing, dude.
Just be super proud of me,
See, I still can't get that. I still can't get that from my family or uncles. Like I've never gotten like a, hey, we see you. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just like, I can't even tell. I was at Lake Powell with some family. I'm 26-year-old, a corporal in the Marine Corps running an infantry squad. I'm on vacation with my family. And we have this rule at Lake Powell. There's a lot of opportunities to go cliff jumping, right? So if you're going to cliff jump with my family, an adult has to just scope out the cliff and get a depth finder just for safety, because you hear all these stories of people busting legs.
I watched my buddy break his neck.
Yeah, paralyzed.
Sand Hollow when they first opened it.
Yeah, because people are dumb. And so my cousins, they're all like under 18, just daredevils, thrill seeker dudes. I love those guys. And they're going to jump. And I'm like, hold on. Out of respect for the rule, like, let me check it out. Like, I'm 26, qualified on every single fucking shoulder-fired weapon system in the military. And, I say, good to go. So then my dad pulls up with the houseboat, and he's fucking losing his shit because these kids are jumping off a cliff that he hasn't inspected. And they're like, the rules, an adult has to expect that. And my cousins are like, well, Blake checked it out. And my dad, straight to I'm right there next to me. He's like, Blake doesn't count. And I was like, dude, are you fucking... So in front of all of my uncles and aunts, I was like, dude, I'm 26 years old. I've signed a contract to die for my country. I lead combat teams in the Marine Corps. And you don't think I'm qualified for your fucking metric? And I just filleted him. And I still can't get that. So that was a memory that stuck with me. And I'm like, what a slap. Hey, calm down. No. I'm like, what a slap to the dick.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Well, I smacked my fucking face on Powell, that rope swing, dude. Did you see that video?
Just water to the face or what?
Well, I'm like, there's like a jumping off point that most people jump off and swing, but we were trying to climb up, dude, and there's like no point of return. Like, you'll slide off and fucking like not have any sort of exit strategy. You'll just flop on a rock. And so I was like, I start climbing. I'm like, too risky. And so we're just like towing the boat. Like, somebody's got a rope they're holding on to that I'm holding on to the bottom of the rope. And they're pulling it with the boat and then let it swing back and jump off again, right? And so two of our friends went, and then I go, and two of them are holding the rope and just pull, let go, and I just like slingshot whipped, and like dude, I'm going like the boat's like right under me, like so close, and I was like, oh fuck, and so I started getting nervous, let go as immediately because they like whipped me, and I was fucking high. It felt higher than a cliff jump, dude, but just came down, dude. I'm like, I'm gonna hit this boat, like, but luckily they were still moving. But I just came completely down, smacked the whole left side, neck, everything, dude. My temple, my whole face, dude. I got up. I felt like somebody hit me with a fucking chair straight to the fucking head, dude. I couldn't feel like this.
Stone
it was
Cold
numb.
Steve Austin
like, I
shit.
couldn't even move this side of my face. I was like, felt like Rocky Balboa or... Dude, I was
Like,
fucked
you had a
up.
fucking stroke or something.
Yeah, I was scared for a second. I'm like, I hope I didn't just fucking blow a brain vessel. And,
Dude, well, you're lucky
'Cause
that...
seriously,
dude,
it could have totally happened.
Well, if your ear was just turned a little bit, you could have blew your eardrum out.
Totally.
My-
I mean, I couldn't fucking hear out of it. But
yeah, well, I
it's
saw
not blowing out.
my
What'd you
buddy...
say? I'm just kidding.
Come again?
Come again?
I beg your pardon. I saw my buddy. We were at Sand Hollow too, man. A lot of shit happened. A good friend of mine, he took some pills and went and swam and drowned. He's the first person ever drowned in Sand Hollow. 14 years old. Another buddy, I watched him break his neck diving into uninspected waters.
Uncharted waters.
Uncharted. And then my best friend, because we would do a bunch of flips and shit into the water, and he landed on his ear, bro. Completely blew his eardrum out. He'd go like this, like put some pressure, and his ear would like whistle, dude. He completely
No
blew
way.
his eardrum out.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Jeez. You're like, play us a tune, man. He's like,
Which one you guys want to hear today?
yeah.
My right eardrum's blown. My sister shot a shotgun. We used to go up to Vernal.
Yeah.
Up there by Dangle Enterprise.
Dangle.
And we'd just be in the back of the truck, man. We have shotgun out this side, and just killing bunnies, bud. Bang.
Bang.
And then we had the rule you couldn't crossfire, right? And my sister...
That's a good rule.
Yeah. So my sister sees a bunny, dude. She goes and fucking bang, dude, right next to my ear. Like, it was nighttime, dude. And I see, like, just, like, even, like, the fucking, like,
light.
Like the fire from the barrel of the shotgun,
They
dude.
call that recoil.
It's called overpressure.
Overpressure. And dude, it blew out my fucking eardrum.
Jesus.
And to this day, dude, like if I hear loud sounds, it's like what a blown speaker sounds like. It's like
Yeah.
that's what my eardrum sounds like, dude.
So if I just yelled at you, I was like, Jared, all you hear is
Yeah. Well, and high pitched sounds, dude. Like when my kids were screaming when they were little in the car, or like even my wife, we were driving down from Salt Lake today, and like she gets a little excited. No, dude, it feels like a pinprick in my ear. It's like, oh, it hurts. Yeah.
like someone just put like a letter opener and just fucked your ear up, dude.
But I gotta wrap this up, guys.
That's cool, man. We'll wrap it. Yeah, that's it, dude. Thanks for watching another episode of this shit. Yeah, I just appreciate you guys. This has been cool. This is my favorite part of the week here. So this is another episode of what are we called? Authentic Identity.
AI, dog.